Next on Inside ChampCar, 4 in a row. 4. Welcome to Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski. That guy above me in the red shirt, you might know him. He is Bill Strong. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Brian. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing good. And then the guy in the big box with the serious hat game, that is Chris Huggins. Hello there. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys tonight?
Well, you know, it's Tuesday.
Recover. Yeah, trying to recover.
Like everybody else will be on Monday.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much. Or Tuesday or Wednesday.
That's right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. This, because we just got done with one race. We do the 24. Pretty much all staff that were at High Plains, yesterday and the day before. Actually, some of them were still out there today. They finally got home tonight, today or midday today. But because of those storms. But yeah, we're going to have people.
All staff in general are going to be at the 24.
Oh, yeah, it's at the 24 because it's all
full court press.
Yep. And then we have then we head off into Gingerman and then turn around right away and go to Thompson. So it's going to be a pretty busy couple of weeks for our staff. So which is fun.
Busy's
we
good.
Do. Yeah. So
that's what we pay
Chris,
for.
Wow. That might be pushing it. Chris, so we haven't had Chip, Mr. 5-time Shank on the show because, he drove for another team at the time. But you're Mr. 4-time, tied with
Simon Says.
Simon Says. Yeah, I would have got it. It was there. Tied with Simon Says as having the most wins at the Lifeline 24-hour Classic. But you're the only one with 4 in a row. Nobody else.
Well, the rest of my team.
Well, yes.
Well, yeah.
I mean, sorry, your team has 4 in a row. So
Look at him already giving credit to other people.
I know he does that. Can't do it with it. You can't as a car owner though. It's hard to do it without all your other guys because for one,
impossible.
Yeah, it is impossible.
Before we get to 4 in a row, Bill,
we already know where he started racing.
I know.
Or you want to do that again?
But it feels like weird if we skip that part. So
Am I the first person to come back for a second show?
No, we've had a couple.
We've had a couple, and I think we've asked them all, haven't we?
No, we just get straight into racing.
All right, well,
so, Chris, when you were 3 years old and your dad's collecting cars, were you sitting in the car, making noises and turning the wheels, shifting gears?
My daughter is 2, and she drove my car down the street today with my hands completely off the wheel.
Oh boy.
Okay,
so we're working on it.
Troy Trulio, Huggins kid did it at 3.
2.
That's awesome.
That
is awesome. Because I don't know if you know the joke, but for back before I went to work with ChampCar, Troy and I would post pictures of our kids and stuff, and I took my daughter. I think she was 14.
They were black and white?
No, they were in color, just Super 8. But took my daughter out for a drive around the property in the Ram, and I think it was like 2014, 2015, and she drove it, had fun doing it and stuff. I put a video up there, and then 10 minutes later, Troy puts a video up of his daughter driving the minivan, like without him.
Oh gosh!
She almost wrecked it, but she didn't.
I was right there.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Oh, what you do is you put the car seat up there.
I just got one of those little mini trucks, the JDM K trucks. So I'm looking forward to letting her drive that around.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Nice. So you start her in RC cars.
Yeah.
Let me teach you the progression here. RC cars, then go-karts. No, it's.
So don't you start with a sim?
We're starting with the little Fisher Price. She's got a little Mercedes that she drives around.
Yeah,
and best-selling car in the world.
You got to throw the sim race in there too. So good.
Yeah, sim racing because that's how Kate started. She drove like the VW bus around the Top Gear test track for a long time with whatever racing game it was. So Chris, all right. So like you said, it takes a ton of people to get a 24. We got a 24 coming up here this weekend. As you're you're not racing this weekend. You're going to be helping us with this
No,
event?
I'm driving for another team this weekend. My team is not
Oh,
racing, but I think 4 of us are driving for 4 different teams.
too cool. So, what would you be doing as a car owner right now? I mean, would you, it's Tuesday, assuming you've already got the car all fixed up,
I'd be
packed up on
panicking right
Sunday?
now. I'd be completely freaking out, panicking. What have I forgotten? You know, what haven't I? Last year it was brake pads, right? Last year I don't think I had brake pads until Thursday before the race. I had to mail order them off of eBay and ship them off to get them custom machined to fit. The year before that, it was something else, drive shafts, I think. And I was scrambling to get those. So it's always something. I don't know what it is this year, you know. Tires probably, right? There's no hand
Right,
hand
yeah.
cooks. So
None.
what are people going to use?
Yeah, I mean, you start looking at those the other tires, the ones that maybe at one point were the tire to have, that maybe aren't very fast, and then you start second guessing yourself. Should I pick the better one or the longer lasting one, or can I make it up?
I mean,
Yeah,
the thing about the 24 is you need to have all your info dialed in, right? What are your suspension settings? What are your gauge settings, your RPM limits? You know, what are your tire pressures? You need to have all that completely dialed for the hell's front porch temperature we're going to be dealing with this weekend. And if you suddenly throw in a different tire, all of that changes. You know, you
yeah.
could change your RPM at your shift points. You're going to change the way the car handles. You're going to change your suspension settings. Every tire behaves differently. So you get different tire pressures. So your whole book is completely out the window. So that would be terrible.
Now, this is something that happened this past weekend in Denver. Was that the temps were pretty cool. Everybody was expecting really hot temps, but Sunday morning they were down at 60 degrees, and that had to change you're already a mile up, in altitude, and all of a sudden guys that were going almost 2 hours the day before weren't even coming close to that on
Oh,
Sunday.
because the tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of stuff. So who knows what's going to happen? Let's say, this is Virginia. It could be 105 degrees, 106 degrees on Saturday when we start the race, and by the evening it's cooled down or it's raining.
Oh, it's going to rain. You know it's
Yeah.
going to rain.
Yeah, it always does. And then you have the fact that overnight you start getting that fog, which the humidity is just insane sometimes.
We're right there by the river.
Or it could be 70 degrees all weekend and, really nice. We hope.
We hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
With a nice breeze.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. To get the fog off the river from the Dan River, to blow away.
So Chris,
yeah, go ahead.
Are you a checklist guy?
I am a huge checklist guy.
Okay, so I don't know if I need to call BS or not here, because you've won 4 in a row at one point. And you said at this point on a Tuesday, if you were the team owner and you're taking your team, you'd be like filling your shorts. How is someone who is a 4-time consecutive winner of this 24-hour race still that anxiety filled now after all that experience? You've got your checklist. You should just check things off, drive out the door, put it on the trailer, and get ready to go, right?
It's always something new, right?
Yeah.
There's always the thing that's not on your checklist that gets you. I don't stop panicking until we pull out of the driveway and head to the track. And the only reason I stop panicking then is there's nothing else I can do, right?
Yeah.
Once the car's on the way to the track, I can't fix it anymore. I can't make any more changes.
Yeah. It's like me when I go on vacation. We just went to Alaska for a week. And until I was sitting at the gate at the airport, I was like all amped up. I was like, something's going to go wrong. The car's not going to be here. I forgot my passport, something. So until I was at the gate, and I went, oh, okay. Now it's all over.
Let me give you an example, right? Road Atlanta, the beginning of this year, right? We've had this wing on the car for, I don't know, 7 years. No checklist item for checking the welds on the wing. We get to Road Atlanta, and one of my drivers just happens to put his hand on it, and the whole thing is loose. So in the trailer on the way to the track, the wing had broken.
Wow.
Imagine if that had happened on the track on the outlap, or in a turn.
Going into turn 10.
So where's that on my checklist? Aluminum fatigue.
Yeah,
Good
that's
point.
funny. Troy used to walk up to my car every race and shake my wing like this.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think
now
most
you
of
know
it
why.
was just Yeah, well,
because he
part of
doesn't
it
like
was
you.
yeah, he didn't like me and the welds. He to test my welds.
Right.
So, the bubblegum welds. And he would just do that every time. And technically that was my check to make sure my welds were good. So, they were
So
good
So
except yeah.
PSA, check your aluminum.
there you go.
Yes.
Especially if you DIY'd your wing.
Yeah.
That is interesting because it's even we saw recently where even one of the major manufacturers' wings broke on a car and just from the vibrations.
Well, it's aluminum, right? Aluminum
Oh yeah.
has a life cycle. You put
Yeah.
you put force into it,
Yep.
eventually it's going to break. It's not like steel, where as long as you stay under the limit, it's never going to break.
Right.
So what do? You just, cut it off, grind it, and have it re-welded back on?
I was like 5 different places on was it Friday at Road Atlanta trying to find a welder that I could use. One place had a welder but no gas. The other place had gas but no mask. The other place had no welding rods. So
Yeah.
I had
Well,
a welder at home, and I looked at my teammate and said, "We're not going to need this," and I
Oh,
put it away.
oh yeah.
We needed it.
yeah. Or you bring the wrong gas.
Yeah, yeah.
Done that before. Yeah.
So every 24-hour race is different. And I'm sure you remember every single one of them pretty clearly. Is there a bizarre thing that happened during each of the 24s that you remember that just popped up and like where did that come from and then you overcame it and kept going?
Yeah, definitely, Let's see, the big story was it 2 years ago was the fog when we had the red flag delay, and there's no way we would have won that race without it because we wouldn't have been able to finish on the brakes we had.
Okay.
And so that led to my brake kit that I made. And I think, was it last year? We had an engine that blew up, so we were down to one car, nursed that one through. Year before
When did
that,
when did the chassis come apart on you? Or
that wasn't 24.
oh, okay.
We did get hit at a 24. Actually 2 years in a row, we got hit in the lower S's. And 1 year we were able to fix it, and the other year we drove with the car crooked for the rest of the race.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. What? Yeah, the rear end wasn't it the rear subframe or something was crooked or
Trailing arms are what breaks on
trailing
the
arm?
E30.
Yeah. Wow.
You have to drop if it's the passenger side, the fuel filler has to come off, so it has to be low on gas, or you're going to spill gas everywhere. And then on either side, the brakes got to come off. So unless you have those really high dollar brake disconnect,
Oh
no
yeah.
bleed things, then it's just like a 2-hour job at the least.
Do you trust
So
those?
I mean, I wouldn't trust the ones that come off Alibaba, but I'd trust the ones that the pro
Yeah.
teams use.
Yeah.
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 And then, yeah, because Troy and I looked at those years ago, and I was just, man, I don't know. You're really risking somebody's life on this stuff, and then, like you said, the ones that were mega bucks that the pros were using, just they were huge money at the
It's like
time.
$1,000
Yes, it was
to do
insane.
just the rear of my car because you need
Yeah.
6 fittings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make it look like they're really cheap until you start adding up all the stuff you need. It's like, holy crap.
And they're
So,
only American threads, so you got to convert. So you got more fittings in the system. I don't want to change any trailing arms. I used to bring them to the track. I don't bring them anymore, especially at the 24. I don't bring basically any major spare parts. No transmissions, no differentials, no drive shafts, none of that stuff. Because if it breaks, we're
you're
done.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so tight now. There used to be a time in our series when you could be down for, a whole stint and come back and win the race. Because that's how tough it was on some of these guys that just didn't prepare for the race, or they didn't know how to prepare.
I mean, the 24 is the best race to do that because you have the longest time to overcome
Right.
that deficit. So for sure, keep digging because you could be an hour down and easily make that up.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
for your 24-hour wins, did you lead flag to flag in any of them, or did you come from behind, or was it a combination?
Maybe last year we led the most out of any of them. Most of the time we came. I know the race usually comes to you sometime in the middle of the night.
Right.
A lot of the really fast cars will end up having mechanicals or make driver mistakes in the middle of the night, and they'll be in the paddock or behind the wall, trying to overcome that, and then you start pulling ahead. So, like the Rockwell cars, they always take off super fast. Visceral's car, they're faster than us, but they eventually make a mistake or break.
That's the complexion of a lot of 24-hour races. It's very
Right.
rare that someone starts off the pole, leads the first lap, never gives it up for any huge amount of time during the race, other
Right.
than maybe during a couple of pit stops, That is just very much the exception to the rule when it comes to an
Well-
endurance race like
Well,
that.
that was Simon Says too. Simon Says was hardly ever at the top. I mean, they were within the top 5 towards the end of the race, and then boom, all of a sudden they were winning. The same with Arbank. You know, when they were not just at other 24-hour races, they were, you know, they were in touch. They could see the leader, and then come to the final hour or so. That's when these teams just all of a sudden pounced.
And Simon was like my mentor, I would say. You know, like Tower and Rob and
Right.
Mike, those guys they're super nice, super friendly. And when I started in ChampCar, they were on their streak of 24 wins and other wins. And so I just watched them. I talked to them. You know, how are you guys doing this? What are you doing? You know, just mimicked what they were doing and talked to my team. Like, look at what these guys do. They're like the Icemen of ChampCar. You know, they're never dominating, but they're never making any mistakes. They're just solid lap after lap. Every driver is always right where they need to be. They're consistent. They're conservative. They're not putting the car where it doesn't belong, avoiding that vortex of danger, and that's what we tried to do. And it's a formula for success.
Wait a second. Let's go back to something you
Please
said.
no. Please don't.
Jason Tower, a nice guy.
I thought you were going back to Vortex of Danger.
No. I was stuck on Jason Tower. He wanted to beat me up at a race.
Well, he has his faults, but everybody does.
But we shook hands after. We're at, yeah. Well,
and you deserved it.
He did not like the MR2. He wanted the MR2 out. He wrote a fake letter. He wrote this letter to the board one time. I don't think he knows I know who did it, but he's an IT guy. I'm an IT guy. I was able to find out exactly where he was from, but he left all his IPs in the email. But he emailed it from work.
He wasn't trying that hard to hide from you then.
No, he wasn't. Well, I don't think he thought John would send it to Mike, who would then send it to me. Is this true? It's like, hell no, not even close. So, but yeah, I think it was our second place. We finished at VIR 12-hour, and yeah, he was in my trailer, and we were ready to go at it right there. And my son's 13th birthday. That was fun. So yeah.
So
Jason's a competitor.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
So how often did your strategy at the start of the race play through for the entire 24 hours? Because when I've done 24-hour races and longer endurance races, I kind of find that I reset every 3 hours and, looked at where we were on the track, where we're on fuel, how things were going, have we had any problems? And usually with about 8 to 10 hours to go, I'm now locked in on how we're getting to the finish. Is that kind of how you find it works out for you typically?
There's always some point in the race where like the shoe drops, the impact happens, or we have a tire go down, or when the rain starts to come, that changes everything, or the fog, that really threw a wrench into the strategy. So I don't think there's been a single one where we've nailed the 2-hour strategy the whole way through and not had to do something crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what tools do you go to a 24? What tools do you not leave at home to go to a 24? What are the most important tools you take?
Yeah. Always bring the welder.
Yeah. Any welder will do. Even the cheapest of the welders at Lowe's or wherever, some Home Depot store, at least you can get it patched together.
NLS's welder has gone around the paddock.
Oh, multiple times. They've gone through bottles of gas.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
If you do it right, you shouldn't need any tools at the 24, right? You put oil in, you fill it up with air and fill it up with fuel, and you're good. Anything more than a wrench or a hammer or something to fix some small body damage, and you're looking at trouble.
And you're not changing tires, right? Unless you get a flat, right?
The only time we've changed tires to the 24 is because of rain.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Used to be we only ran the Hancooks, and I think the first two 24s, even with rain, we just stayed on the Hancooks, and then we got the rain tires, and we started the race a couple of years ago with rain tires and immediately dried out. We had to come in and change, and that put us in the very back of the field. So starting off on the wrong foot, that was a bad call on my part,
Right.
So is it it's funny because you talk about the rain tires. Remember that really bad rain we had? I think it was 2014. that 24.
Well, there's been a couple. 2014 was my first 24, and I remember changing a control arm in the paddock with water, coming in my nose, laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And then I jumped right in the car with completely soaked and drove for 2 hours. That was my introduction to the 24.
That's it. But I bought rain tires, the Continental, whatever. And we never used them because the Durezas actually seemed to work for us pretty well. But how do you know when to put on rain tires? I mean, when do you make that decision?
It depends on what tires you have. But the ones we use are the Continentals, I think.
Yeah.
It has to be actively raining. So you have to know that for at least 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever, it's going to be actively raining. As soon as the rain stops coming down, they start to get greasy, they start to overheat.
They blister.
And the car actually, with the body lean, they're so much bigger than the factory size or the normal size we run that when you get that grip from the dry track, the car will start to rub into the sidewalls and you'll end up hurting the tire.
Right. So rain tires, pick your tires. So any other tools that you would recommend bringing to a 24 that you wouldn't normally bring to like a regular race?
Extra people.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Hydration, a cook, con your mom into coming and cooking food for you, which is what I do every year.
And she has fun doing it though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's into it now. It's awesome. That's really, the team I'm racing with this weekend, they were planning on going out for fuel runs every couple hours. And I'm like, dudes, I'm bringing fuel jugs, but like barrels, because that's just brutal,
Yeah.
Your headlight aim is super critical. One thing a lot of people don't think about or complain about a lot, especially if they haven't done nighttime before, is the glare from the cars behind you and knowing that depth perception. So my trick is to put tape on my visor. If you race with the visor down, you put it at the top. If you race with visor up, you put it at the bottom, and you can kind of adjust it like a sun visor to block the mirror. Some guys run like strips of tape across the back window to even cut down that glare even more. You need to get that dialed in before the race.
So what we would do is, it's a little easier in the MR2 because you have that notch back. So you had a flat window back there, and we would just take a cut of window tint.
Yep.
Yeah. And just when the day was, when the sun was going down, we come in, for the last pit stop before night, squirt some soapy water on it, put that thing on, put it on there, and it sticks. And the heat from the engine dries it like that. Now it might get a little foggy or bubbly or whatever, but it's not bad. And it does stop the glare big time. And we would throw a strip or two on the mirrors too. So on the side mirrors.
That's another good tip. Yeah.
Yeah. And that worked really well. And then at the end of the race, you just peel it off, wash it, wash off the glue. But you can also get the temporary stuff too that you can buy at like AutoZone or whatever. That's temporary and it just peels off. But I didn't have good luck with that on the Lexan. So we used the Lexan window behind us. But on the glass mirrors, it worked great. You can also do that on your mirror.
On the inside mirror.
Yeah, the inside mirror.
We make sure that is kind of loose-ish so you can adjust it as you need at night. It's, like in your car, you got the little switch you can flip, but you don't have that with a wink mirror or a convex one.
How about all the lighty things on your dash and, your computers and your flagtronics and everything? How do you keep, people don't realize how much glare there is on that front window when you don't have a dash in the car, or you just have all this stuff sitting on the dash.
Yeah, that really bit us a couple times. I put those like LED, like the dummy lights that say, your oil pressure's low or whatever. And, when you go through a turn, sometimes it flashes at you. Well, I had this super bright red light, like, don't miss this, you dummy. And at night when that hit you, you couldn't see for like seconds afterwards. So driver came in, I Sharpied over it, that didn't work. So I stuck a piece of tape over it, trying to stop it from hurting you. Now we got the aim dash. So I have it set up where you push a button and it makes the screen go from white to red. And I push that before we go into the night because red is better for your night vision.
Right.
Then we have battery powered lights that stick up on the roof. So when you're doing a driver change, you can see where the belts are and they're red. And red, again, is my favorite night vision color. Some people like green or blue or whatever, but I like red.
Yeah, we used blue. It kind of annoyed me, but the other guys liked it. So I was.
And that helps with your I have one car that has a clock in it that tells you how long you've been in the car for your stint. The other car doesn't have that clock. I'm just too lazy to do it, I guess. And so all it has is a regular clock on the dash, which isn't backlit. So at night you can't see
Right.
what time it is or how long you've been in the car. So you have to flick the lights on, then you can see what time it is and flick them back off.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And for the pit guys, I have the same lights under the hood, so you can see when you're checking the oil, looking at the belts, all that jazz.
Do you write little notes on the car, like what things should be? You know, like the bolt torque on this should be this. You know, the tire pressure should be that. The belt. You know, you throw a fan belt. You know how does the fan belt route through your your front serpentine stuff or whatever you use on the front?
Man, we have an old car. It's only got one belt. It just goes 3 places. If you can't figure that out,
can't miss it. Yeah,
you can go be on Bill's team.
Yeah.
We have a little pictogram on the intake manifold of where the oil level should be.
Yeah.
But one thing we found out is that it's better to have one person check the oil every single time. So with two cars, we have a crew chief for each car, and they try to be there at every stop to check the oil. And if the oil has changed, they remember it from the last stop. It's in their fresh memory. So even though we got the pictogram to remind them, they just need to, how's it doing over time?
Yeah. We also put the firing order, even though it's a standard firing order. The guy checking it may not know.
I don't. As a child of the new age.
What's a firing order?
What is that?
Oh yeah, firing
How does that
order.
help
That's
you?
right.
They're not driving an Opel, Bill.
Well, we even put it on. No, because the spark. Well, yeah, because I guess you have coil unplugged, don't
yeah.
you?
Thank you,
thinking
Chris.
about that, I don't even know
that.
why I did. Wait. Why did I even put the firing order on my damn hood?
How is that going to help you?
Yes, I never thought about that. Jeez. Thanks, Chris.
Like I guess that helps you put the spark plug wires in the right spot.
There were no spark plug wires.
Mine only goes in one place.
Yes, and because the harness comes and you can't move it. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Actually, I feel stupid, man, because it's like.
Well, this is a record, though, Bill.
I just remember thinking how smart I was putting the firing order on the hood. And
hey, y'all write that down. Bill Strong said he was stupid.
Well,
no, it's a record. We've gotten 29 minutes into the show before Bill said, "I'm stupid."
I'm stupid, man. God.
Usually, I get there first.
Now I'm trying to think how many guys walked away laughing.
Well, at least now you know why they walked away laughing, because they always walked away laughing.
Well, yeah, true. Yes, that's true.
Just tell people they're your lottery numbers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Those are the dates your children were born.
Yeah, that's my password. Damn it.
There you go. All right, so let's pretend, Chris, there's a first-time team coming to the 24. Not a first-time team, but a first-time team going to a 24. It's Tuesday. There's only so much you can do between now and when you pull out of the house or wherever the car is. What are you telling people? What's your advice?
Bring about twice as much water as you think.
Water for the car or water for the team?
For people.
No, water for the team, for the people. Some of those energy, what are the powders you dump in? The
electrolytes?
Gatorade, electrolyte powders. Just make sure you stay on top of your hydration, especially as you get tired, right? Your crew, whatever that may be, even if it's just your drivers, you guys need to have a set schedule of when this person is supposed to sleep. Because one thing I promise is that at the beginning of the race, everybody on your team is going to be there watching it happen. Your pit box is going to be completely full of people. You're not going to be able to breathe. And then about 2 a.m, suddenly all those 100 people that were there are going to be completely missing. Yeah. And you need to have a pit stop and you can't find a single person to dump fuel in your car. And what do you do then, right? So you need to have a set schedule so that somebody goes to bed early, and sure, they're going to miss some of the race, but they need to be, well rested at 2 a.m. so they can be awake to notice that your lug nuts are about to fall off and retighten them before they send you back out on track.
And
that is so true.
And whatever you wear under your driver's suit, take multiple sets of that. If you wear Nomex, if you wear a T-shirt, whatever you wear under, because there's nothing worse than doing your stint. You come out, especially in Virginia in August, you're going to come out of the car disgusting. And then 2 or 4 or 6 hours later, you got to get back in. And whatever that layer is against your skin is still sweaty and disgusting.
You got
So
to put that wet, cool shirt back on.
Oh.
I just leave
Exactly.
it on I slept in it last year.
Yeah.
It's just brutal to get off when it's miserable like that.
It just
Right.
sticks to you and you can't get it. Yeah, you start ripping it as you pull it off.
Yeah.
The hose
Hopefully,
start coming
ChampCar's
out.
still got that big cool shirt
Yeah.
thing they put by the flag building or wherever.
Oh, let me message Jimmy now just to make certain, because we did take it to the last race, and because we haven't used it in quite a while.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to figure out how we're gonna coordinate all this again too, because ChampCar has changed around the way they do the paddock, and that north timing building is no longer the hub. The downstairs is now the EMS room, so we can't be in there,
I think we do it in tech,
which
So
is
that's where-
the tech shed.
Yeah, the tech shed. That's where everything's going to be for
Yeah.
Dana. Yeah, we've already had our email from staff.
So good stuff. Good stuff. So oh, go
Make
ahead.
sure you have a plan to get home too, because I live an hour from VIR, and that's the worst drive. That's the worst part of the whole race, is trying to take my, regular truck and trailer, that 1 hour drive home that I've made 700 times. I know how to get there in my sleep, and I'm stopping, walking around the truck, eating a snack, one chip at a time.
Yeah, I tried to drive somewhat back from Palm Beach one year after a 24-hour, and I thought I'd get to like maybe Cape Canaveral. I was heading back towards Atlanta, and I got about an hour and 20 minutes outside of West Palm, and I was like, no, sorry, I got to find a hotel. This was stupid. So
Doc and I
Probably
and I
okay if you're flying in and doing a arrive and drive and you
Right.
plan on getting good 8 hours of sleep. But if you're part of a low budget team that's everybody's on deck all the time and you're going to be up all night, or you're like me and just can't sleep when your cars are out there making laps, just there's no way I'd make it any farther than an hour.
Yeah.
I drove home. It's an hour and a half to get to my house, and COVID. Remember COVID? That thing where that year that yeah, we had no money in the accounts because we had to pay for another race coming up. I think it was Indy. And basically Chiswick called me and says, no hotel tonight. So I had to drive home basically. And
Oof.
I fell asleep at every stop sign. I honestly think I fell asleep multiple times. And it was, I got home and it's like, how freaking stupid was I?
Yeah, that's
Again.
what I just pull over on the side of the road for an
Yeah.
hour and find a gas station, and there's no honor in not
No,
taking
I
a
know
few
there
minutes
isn't. There isn't.
to get
So,
yourself back together.
I'd hate to
Yeah.
have a team that got through the whole weekend with the car undamaged and everybody had a great time, and then they end
Yep.
up totaling their stuff on the way home.
Yeah.
So just
Yep.
don't underestimate that.
Yeah,
Right.
no
And you
question.
may feel good when you leave the track because you're still on the
You're floating on that
adrenaline.
Yeah.
adrenaline
yeah.
high. Yeah, the
I made
endorphins
it, I
are still
made it.
flowing.
And it takes
And
about
then
20 minutes for that to
boom.
go away. Once you
Oh my God,
left.
it's like as soon as you hit the McDonald's going to Route 29,
Yeah.
from the track, it's like, whoa, how did I get here?
I get to about Roxborough and I'm like, okay, where am I now?
Yeah.
So if you were driving a Mini, maybe blue, the little wing on the back, what would be your strategy around VIR?
Use the skinny pedal on the right.
Okay.
And don't let Bill drive.
Oh, he's on, man.
Are you getting to drive this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to drive one of the first stints, not the first stint, but I think the second or third stint I'm driving for the Wittenauer F-Class team.
Nice. I'm
So-
sure Mr. Foster gave you a nice walk around of the track.
You're driving
Last week.
the
Yes,
third
he did
stint,
actually.
Bill.
Yeah. Well, I kind of know that track too, but I did learn a couple of things from Mr. Foster.
Yes, we all
So
did.
that was interesting. Mainly, it was about looking for little signs on the track. I didn't know about those. So
A little bird has told me you're driving the third stint.
third stint. Yeah, I
Third
just
stint.
saw that there. So we'll have a camera in that car. So live camera. I think we also have one in. Oh, he messaged me the other day. It's a team that does quite well with when they have cameras in the car. So we're gonna put one in his too. All right. So Foster gave us a walk around last week. What's your everybody has a favorite, but what's your worst corner at VIR? And you're there a lot. So what is the hardest corner for you to get?
The hardest corner is Oak Tree. it's the scariest corner because it has the least runoff on the whole track,
Yeah, it does. That's true.
and camber change and braking change, and it's also got a huge vortex of danger that is so hard not to get sucked into on both sides, right? People
Yeah.
you come out of turn 10, you're all the way track right. And I tell people to aim for, as like a multiple sign, you aim for the beginning of it, right? Put you kind of track left. Well, people are going to want to get on the left and you're coming over and boom, they push you off into the grass and you can't stop and you're in the tires.
Yeah.
Or you wait and you try to pass on the inside and they cut back to the right because that's the way the line goes as you enter in the turn. Then boom, contact and your car's upside down. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
We had
that
that happen.
which corner or which section at VIR is so different at night than during the day?
You can't see them, so you don't know where they're at.
I love racing at night. That was my,
Yeah.
my one real ask for the team I'm racing with is, let me drive that like 2 to 4 a.m. stint. Like that's my favorite stint. The track's the coldest, the air's the coldest. You're gonna get, that's when it's time to go fast, and I could drive that place with my eyes closed. So it's hard for me to say what's different at night.
Yeah.
It really depends on, I guess, the lighting, right? I guess turn 3 is pretty challenging at night because it's hard to find the apex, and you don't want to. I kind of bait you into trying to turn in too soon, and then you hit the inside curb, and it really upsets you. Um, Other than that, it's all about the same. Turn 10 is still as blind as it is in the daytime, so no difference
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I love the dark into daylight stint.
I like sitting up on the snack bar on the roof as the sun's coming up. That's where you'll find me
Mhm.
Sunday morning,
There you go.
watching the sunrise over turn 1, taking pictures.
I'm trying to figure out where the moon phase is.
So, Bill, should we
Wait,
talk to
wait.
Chris a little bit about ChampCar stuff other than the 24 since we've got the VP of the
Yeah,
board of
why not?
directors on?
Well, it's a waning gibbous or whatever it's called,
What
which
does that
is
mean in English,
three
please?
3/4 full moon, 3/4 full moon. Not full, I guess. 3/4 half empty. 3/4
So
empty.
is it gonna be dark or light?
Quarter. It's going to be lighter.
So that's the other thing to talk about. If you've never done the 24 and you're used to driving at night, if unless you live out where Bill lives in the country, if you're a city boy like me, you don't recognize what night is
Oh
because there's
yeah.
Yeah.
street lights everywhere. And there's a difference in like Road Atlanta at night and VIR at night. Because Road
Yeah.
Atlanta has the bridge and they have paddock lights, and
Right.
it's really not that bad at Road Atlanta at night. There's plenty of light. I think even Road Atlanta has those construction light things that they just have at the track all the time. The Champ Car doesn't pay for those at VIR anymore.
Right.
VIR dark at night is country dark at night. You have no light other than what your car puts out on the track.
Yeah.
And if you're not used to that, it's a huge change. And you need to make sure that your headlights are properly aimed. You know, I tell people to favor your apex lights because that's the ones you need, right? If you're going down the straightaway and you kind of want to see way out in front of you, on the regular highway, you want to make sure there's no deer or children running across the road or whatever. But at the racetrack, you're going so fast that it doesn't really matter if there was a deer running out. You're not gonna be able to stop anyway, and you
Right.
know where the racetrack is when you're going straight. It's when you're turning that you don't know where the racetrack is, and you need to know where the racetrack is. So turn those lights way out, crab them out, almost 45 degrees or more, so you can see those apexes, so you can not get yourself in trouble, missing a turn.
Well, the other thing too at VIR is you do have a couple of landmarks that you can watch for. One being the after turn 4 or 5 is the hotel. You have those lights that you can use as landmarks and kind of line up your car in certain spots. And then you have the condos at the top of the going up the S's, so that helps you out a
Right.
little bit. After that, you're pretty much on your own.
Well,
It's
and in
you know.
VIR with the fog on many nights, you don't even get
Oh,
to
you
take
have
advantage
nothing.
of the full moon or a fuller moon.
Right.
Because in the sticks where
Oh,
I grew up, and when there's a full moon, you can walk outside and pretend like you don't even need a headlamp. You
yeah.
know,
Well, the other thing too is that you could be full sunlight at oak tree, everything's great, and then you get down over going down a roller coaster, and all of a sudden it's just a fog bank,
right.
and you can't see nothing. You'll go onto turn 1 and fog, and then as soon as you get up to the uphill S's, it's gone because
Turn 1 is where the
that low
fog will
clouds.
be. because that's where
Yeah,
the
it
lowest part of
starts.
the track is, and that's where it's
Yep.
closest to the river. So it's
Great pictures
sketchiest
there.
there.
Yeah, I got some great pictures there last year. I'm going to
Yeah,
try
there's
and do that again.
one on the cover of our rule book.
Yep, yep. I'm
So
going to
the other
try and
thing
get that a little better.
other thing to talk about is the flag stations and
Yes.
the light boards. So we have great Flagtronics light boards, and it's less of a problem now that we have the Flagtronics in everybody's car, which those are great. But not all the flag stations are going to be manned for the whole race. Some of the flag stations will be unmanned during the darkness hours.
Right.
And so, and even the ones that are manned, they could be holding a flag out there and you're not going to be able to see them. The only thing you can
Right.
see is those light boards, and they don't have 17 colors in the light boards. They got green, yellow, and red, or I don't even, they don't, probably don't even have green.
Yeah, they do.
So you got to
Yeah. Yeah, you
train your
just
mind to
yep, to think like that.
understand it's different, right? You're not going to be able to see a waving yellow flag. It's going to be a flash, 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 flash. That's waving yellow. And then
Right.
both of them solid is your solid yellow. You get your purple 35, I believe.
That's why keeping that Flagtronics working is so important, especially at night. If it just suddenly shuts off or something, come into the pits and have them look at it real quick, because it is. We have guys watching that Flagtronics, completely watching it, focused on that, and if a car goes off, it lets us know, and we can respond pretty quickly. And at VIR, things can happen really, really fast because the speeds are really high. You can get yourself into trouble really quickly, and the quicker we can get safety out to you, the better it's going to be for you. So really, really important. And on that note, we do have a Flagtronics update that we're going to have to apply. It's a mid-year update. If you guys remember, there were times when you'd come up to a, we were under code 35, and you come up to a corner and the corner worker would put out the yellow flag because that's kind of where the incident is, and your Flagtronics unit would turn yellow. Well, what does that mean? It means accelerate up to whatever speed, right, Chris?
Yeah, it means
70%
go.
race speed.
Hammer
Yeah,
down.
hammer down. So, and then boom, you get caught for speeding or whatever. And so this fixes that. The flagger can throw whatever yellow, but your Flagtronics is gonna stay purple. They can sit there pressing the button all they want; it will stay purple. So that's hopefully that will keep people out of black flag and help you, stay safe.
S-
Um,
that's a key for this long race. Any mistake, don't get caught in black flag. You don't want to be down there talking to Jimmy.
nope,
He's not going to be happy at 2 in the morning, and he does not have ice cream for you.
nope. And the thing is, his country gets worse when he's tired.
And the vortex of danger gets twice as big at night.
Yeah,
People are so scared, if they haven't driven at night before. Just imagine your first time at night, right?
yeah.
You don't know where the track is, you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be kind of cautious, and you're definitely not looking in your mirror. So you have to be extra cautious at night.
You got to use your hearing, every sense you have, the spidey sense, everything. You got to use them at night. One thing that we did is we always had a little those Harbor Freight flashlight to give away free or for $1 or whatever. We had a bunch of those in the car just in case. And I'll tell you what, those came in handy sometimes when you're driving and you're trying to fix something, a switch or fuse, or something happens out in the track, you can't see. You get that little, keep it in the uh, within a few inches of the driver, so he can pull it out, turn it on, and see what the problem is. He can maybe fix something out there, get going again. Um,
Aren't you the one that had the driver plugged into like his cell phone so they could call back in when their wheel fell off?
so we had two radios. One that was attached to the car, that hardwired in, and then a handheld. So if the wheel did fall off him while they're loading up the car or whatever, they get you out of the car or whatever, and you can't get on the radio. So he takes a radio with him and he could, hey, get a hub ready, get this or that ready, or hey, the tire's flat, help. Or your radio just quits. At least you have a secondary backup radio. But you can, I never did the cell phone. I think so. Oh, that was one of our racers that I think at Sebring did that a bunch of years ago. They put a cell phone on their car. I guess the car died. They pulled it behind turn 16 wall, and they did diagnosis over the cell phone. She got it going and pulled back out on track and started racing again.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that with an old cell phone, even a flip phone. So the other thing is old drivers. So I'll be 61 this year. Brian's going to be what, 38?
Me?
Yeah.
You're so
And
nice. Why are
yeah.
you nice to me? What
I don't know.
are you going to ask me to do for free, Bill?
So, you have older drivers. Chris, your dad's my age, maybe a bit younger, but we're about the same age. It's harder for us to drive at night. Our eyes
Right.
don't adjust to the darkness as quick, and depth perception's not always the best, and stuff like that. So, one of the things I always suggested is put your young drivers in at night. The older drivers in during the day. Less chance of
Absolutely.
screwing up. Tim
That's
Elliott,
definitely
he's
how
like
I did the
61.
driver order is young guys at night, and I tried
Yeah,
to, put myself at night over and over again just because I enjoy it, right? It's our only
yeah,
opportunity, but also I'm generally the younger end of my team.
Well, and ask your drivers what they like to do.
yeah.
I mean, you might not know, but you might have a driver who loves being at night or loves being in the rain or, fill in the blank and be ready to shake up your order if some situation comes up where, it rains and you've got your rainmeister or you've got someone like Chris who loves driving at night. So, plan your driving stints around that kind of stuff.
In 2017, it had a huge downpour too, and we'd gotten hit and broken a trailing arm, and we were well out of the race. Wyatt Foster and I back and forth for the whole night, and it came pouring down rain about, I don't know, 2 in the morning, and he made up like 3 laps on the whole field, and I made up like 2 laps on the whole field. We were coming from well in the back. We finished out of the podium, but that was amazing experience.
Yeah, very
Now,
cool.
also, smoking, guys that smoke, that can affect their night vision as well. That's what pilots say, at least fighter pilots. So,
Your
watch the use of cigarettes.
your caffeine intake too.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
that's
if
right.
you're not, you don't want to like completely shut off caffeine, but you need to think about that as you approach this weekend because your sleep schedule is going to be completely changed around. The other thing to think about is, if you are going to go to sleep early, like I plan on going to sleep at 8 o'clock and getting up around midnight in order to drive a 2 a.m. stint.
Mhm.
Um, give yourself 45 minutes or so after you're supposed to stop sleeping in order to get going again. You don't want to wake up and then jump in the car because your body's not going to be awake. Your eyes are going to be open, but you're still going to be half asleep. So you need to have a period of time to get yourself woken up and get yourself going again, especially at an odd hour.
Well, and also,
Hydrate, have a little bit of food too.
yeah, and expect you to not. If you're someone who like usually hits the pillow and you're out like a light, like I am, that may not happen at a racetrack at 8 o'clock at night when you're going to bed at a time that you're not normally happening. So it might take you an hour to fall asleep if you fall asleep at all. And think about earplugs to try to take out some of that track noise while you're trying to sleep. Lots of little tricks you can do.
Yeah,
Um,
the noise silent or the sound silencing or whatever, those.
yep.
Yeah,
If you're in one
those
of
work
those
really good.
garage rooms where
Yeah.
they're right on the track, boy, it's going to be so loud in there.
It
Yeah.
was so I had one last year and it wasn't that bad because the repetitive noise helps me fall
Yeah.
asleep. So that's, so
Yeah.
that helped me. But I know a lot of people, it's just they can't deal with that.
I used to sleep on the open trailer in the paddock at the racetrack. So
That's what we did.
the noise doesn't bother me so much, but I know some people it does a lot. I find it to be soothing.
Yeah.
Like rocking a baby to sleep. So,
I'll be
Yeah.
sleeping in the back of my wagon.
yeah.
But the most important thing is stay hydrated. We've had a lot of people, I can count more than two handfuls of people that I know personally that got hurt um, because of being dehydrated. I'm one of them, and everybody's heard the story.
Yep.
So I'm not going to repeat it, but um, stay hydrated because and notice what happens when you are dehydrated. If you start making bad decisions in the car, even as a team owner, or as a team captain or crew chief or just a guy on the team, if you notice one of your drivers or somebody else just making stupid mistakes they wouldn't normally make, going off multiple times, during their stint, check on them,
Right.
radio them, and don't be afraid of, don't be all manly and, you're allowed to be a sissy boy,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
allowed to in a 24. Um,
What-
call it a day if you have to.
I
and
got carbon monoxide
Oh,
poisoning
yeah,
at a
that's
race.
right.
And
That's
that's
right.
no joke, and that can, permanently
That was at
affect your.
Ozarks, wasn't it?
I was at Ozarks,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I crashed the car,
Yep.
and I knew it was happening to me, but I wasn't quick enough to figure it out.
Right.
And I did do 2 extra laps after that, trying to let them have time to get another driver ready, but I really shouldn't have. It's just not
Right.
worth it. I could have ended the race. I was so lucky I didn't hurt the car worse than I did.
Right.
Somebody just mentioned hallucinating. I drove across the country one time, and I swear I saw dinosaurs crossing Route 4 or Interstate 40, and they weren't just regular dinosaurs; they were the Flintstone dinosaurs.
Hey, Bill,
So yeah,
those magic mushrooms, you probably should cut back on those a little bit.
no,
Okay.
I tried driving across country by myself. Yeah, nonstop. Yeah, that was like a bad thing to do.
And when you're making your crew assignments, assign somebody the job to make sure people are hydrating, to
Yeah.
keep tabs on, asking people, have you drank enough? Are you doing enough? Have you taken a little bit of rest? Have you eaten enough? And kind of, my mom played that role. I used to call her the den mom. But yeah, I mean, that's the perfect, if you've got one, a spouse, a kid, somebody, just make sure that's their job to kind of try to keep tabs on it. And it's really helpful because we don't think about that. We're all in the game, right?
Yeah.
So
And I think the final thing we'll ask Chris is, Chris, you probably have the most experience of this of any racer in ChampCar at the 24. When you get out of that car and I shove that microphone in your face, what are you going to say?
I got no idea.
Exactly.
I never have. That is, every time you come and talk to me, I've been for the last 2 hours panicking in my head.
Yeah.
As the car owner at the last of the race, you're like, what's that noise?
Yes.
What did I have for breakfast this morning? Is
Yeah.
the tire going to fall off?
What's that noise? What's that
I hope I
noise? And
gap
what's
the
that noise?
pistons ring properly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did it just detonate? Yeah.
Anything but what you should be thinking about. Your mind is just wandering. You're seeing those dinosaurs on the outside of turn 15.
Why is that fuel level sender doing this?
It's been doing that the whole race, but suddenly now it's a major problem.
yeah, it's when it stops doing that over here.
Yeah.
That's when you have to be worried.
Yeah. Has it moved? Why is it still on full? I know I've done 2 hours. Yeah, those little things just really, really just.
Well, and it's you almost
and
don't.
that's only from the one race I've won.
For whatever reason, the 24 is always, it's been, I mean, I guess I say fortunate, but it's never been like down to the wire in the 4 that we've won. It's always been a pretty large gap that we've just been maintaining, and that's the hardest because when you're trying to chase someone down or someone's chasing you down, and all you can think about is driving, you don't worry about any of that. You just send it. Whatever. You're banging gears and you're redlining it. You're not worried about blowing the motor. I'm going to win this race or I'm going to lose this race and I'm go home on the wrecker. But when the car's 3 laps behind you and you're just trying to nurse it home, that's when you hear all that and your mind can't focus, and that's when you're most likely to make a mistake.
Yep.
My guys are always on the radio to me like, just get in your groove. Don't go too slow. You're going to make a mistake. Just run your normal race. Just be easy, but don't go too slow. You got to keep going. You got to keep racing.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that gets us.
Wait. Who are you driving for this weekend, Chris?
Bulldog Racing.
Okay.
So
that's the E30 with the big bulldog on the hood, right?
It is. Yeah, it's white and blue.
Yes.
It's got a nice engine swap in it.
And what do you guys normally race? What are your cars?
E30s.
Okay.
I got orange one with the engine swap and a white one with aero.
All right. So you're not learning a new car this weekend. You're just getting into someone else's E30.
I'm getting into Old Faithful.
There you go. All right. Anything else, Bill, before we let Chris go?
Nah,
we'll
that's
have
it.
you on
We'll
for another time
weekend,
to talk
Chris,
about
and
ChampCar
good
stuff.
luck, and I'll wave at you as I pass you in the little mini.
Yeah, I'll be up in your booth talking on the radio,
Okay,
I'm sure.
cool,
I got plenty of time and not much to worry about this weekend, so.
Cool.
Nice.
Guys, thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it. Good luck, everybody, this weekend.
All right. So, Bill, we've got some post-race stuff from
where were we? High Plains.
High Plains.
So, folks, this is only going to be the winners. So from now on, we're only going to show the first place from each race. I will post up tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to finish the editing for the full interviews. Your full interviews will be on champcar.live tomorrow, probably mid-afternoon. I also have to go get the T-shirts for the VIR 24 and a bunch of other stuff I have to do tomorrow for ChampCar. So I will have them up for you. Trust me. But here are the winners from Saturday, 8-hour at High Plains, and Sunday's 8-hour at High Plains, which Trust me, you want to go to this track next year. It is amazing. Go ahead, Brian. Yeah, I'm down here with John Kruger. He did. That's good. Down here with JC and Kruger Tuned Racing. Awesome race, but why did your brother get FTD?
Because he's faster than me.
It's cousin.
And he's my cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, you never know where you guys are from.
Right, now I know.
Brand new tires, cold track, a lot more grip. Brand new tires. You know, the air temperature was low. You had more horsepower. You had more grip. As it got hotter during the day, we had to sacrifice not to hurt the car.
Well, you're also at altitude, so there's probably less wind resistance.
Well, that helped us and also hurt us because it doesn't give us much downforce on the wing.
So how was it out there today?
That was pretty fantastic. It's a great car, handled really well. Had a bit of a mishap on the right at the end of the race. Just slowed down a little bit to maintain pace, and BMW decided to start racing me. Dive bombed me in, I think it was 12, and then he lost control.
He took responsibility for that. He manned up.
All right, well that's great, awesome.
So good weekend.
Oh, hi, Bill. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's awesome. I've never been to this track before, and it was good learning yesterday. And car was awesome. It was good to be out there first, and had a lot of open track, and had a great race with Bavarian Mustache Works. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So how was it out there for you today?
It was good. Yeah, we were definitely racing the Bavarian Mustache Work. They definitely kept us honest all day. It was a good race with them.
Porsche looked pretty good out there,
Yeah, it's running good.
except for the other side.
Yeah, I know. I got hit twice today, so.
You gonna do anything different tomorrow to make up for that lap you're gonna get, or maybe 2 laps? I think. I don't know.
It's just should be just 1 lap, but yes, we're gonna drive faster.
Well, you have the Porsche tax.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go.
We make this up as we go. You know that, right? That's an internet rumor.
Yeah. No, we'll just try to keep the same strategy. Drive fast, stay out of trouble.
Do you tell your cousins to like slow down, not to get your FTD? I mean, not.
I know what you mean. No, I don't. I know I'm not the fastest driver here, so yeah, no, I don't mind.
All right, good race, guys.
We were all within a second.
Yeah, it was all
Like 209 to 20, or 209.5 to 210.7 or something like that. I mean, we were all really close.
Do you just slow down not to impress these guys or outdo them?
No, I just run one good fast lap, and then the rest of it is crap.
All right, Kruger Tune Racing wins overall here at High Plains Raceway in Colorado.
Thank you.
Down here at CJS Motorsports, formerly Zoom Zoom Kaboom, as you guys all know. You take the lead towards the end of the race and you hold it. That was pretty awesome out there.
Yeah, we went out with 2 hours to go, and we're a pit stop behind the leaders. Like, we're just gonna try to hold on and see if we can just make it to the end, which we did. And they, fortunate for us, had problems, which put us in the lead with a lap and a half, and just kind of held steady, brought it home. Didn't really care if anyone passed us because knew we had a gap, so was in no rush to make any mistakes, and just brought it home.
There you go. Now you guys, you beat us some pretty hefty hardware out here.
Yeah, I mean, all these cars are theoretically quicker than us, but just for the most part, fuel-saving mode, just coasting home. I mean, never really pushing, just limiting our pit stops, and it helped us save time.
Cool. Who are your drivers today?
Scott, myself, and my dad, right?
Do I put that under the thing myself?
What's your name?
Oh, sorry, Zach.
It's all right. You've been driving, man.
Yeah, I did 2 stints today, 2 stints yesterday.
What's your last name, Zach?
Lebwell, same as my dad here.
All right. congrats, guys.
I know, this is really, really exciting. You got to remember, this is the beginning, this is the infancy of a brand new team. And CJS Motorsports, CJS Racing, I mean, this right here is actually our backup car. Just wait until we bring our real hardware. And so to have a 17-year-old, we'll call it a rookie, even though he's been driving for such a long period of time and doing such a successful, absolutely incredible job today, holding it together, doing 2 stints today and 2 stints yesterday. Our success being Class A yesterday, Class A today, overall, and we even beat an EC car, which was unbelievable. I got to tell you, that is amazing. So I'm so proud to be a part of this team. Zach has got a bunch of people he wants to thank. And so, Bill, if you don't have an opportunity, see what he has to say.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and Dana and the rest of the ChampCar staff, as well as High Plains and the corner workers. Track was awesome. Racing was great. And you guys put together a great series. Obviously Scott and Renegade Hybrids, who have this backup car and were able to put it together in 2 days with very little notice. So for them to have the car ready and ready to run and run well was awesome. My dad for putting together the team and finance.
That's the team owner right there.
and working on it, as well as driving. He drove great today and yesterday. We got Porter and Alec around here. They were helping with crew, and they were great through the whole time. So we had no issues and stops. Yes, I know. My mother as well for supporting me in racing and supporting us, putting this team together, and everyone coming together to put the car and the team. Great.
Hey, congrats, guys. We're here at High Plains.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Welcome back to Inside ChampCar. Brian Bielanski, Bill Strong. Some great interviews there from High Plains. I haven't been out there. That's actually as close as you guys get to me now, isn't it?
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
That's, we rode up, of course, I don't know if people following me on Facebook, but I got a electric car, a Tesla.
We'll have to do a whole episode on that.
I think we will. It's I'm renting another one in October in Phoenix, so it'll be interesting.
Cool.
Get it, some feedback. But High Plains, man, as we come over the hill, you got a gun range on your right. So if you're into guns, there's a great place to go there. And on the left is a racetrack in the middle of freaking nowhere. There's not even cows there. That's how in the middle of nowhere it is. There's bison about 20 miles down the road. It's a pretty wild place, but it looked flat.
Yeah.
Until you get past turn 5. And then it just drops down to the Grand Canyon, man.
Yeah.
And it's pretty insane. I did take some laps in the I need to be charged now car, so I couldn't really take too many of them or very hard. Plus, I didn't have a helmet on, and I'm in a rental car, so you don't want to abuse it. So
Sure
I only
do.
did 35 miles an hour.
Sure you
no, I really did. You can look on the data, 35. But it's a pretty wicked track. Supposedly it has a lot of grip, or what the guys are saying, but it did eat some tires. So it could have been alignment, could have been all kinds of stuff. But guess where we're headed? And we just spent an hour talking about it. We are going to the Lifeline 24-hour Classic. Of course, Lifeline, the longtime sponsor of this. They supply fire systems. They're going to have some giveaways to the winners and maybe losers. I don't know.
There you go.
They're going to be there this weekend with some gifts for folks. And it's going to be a fun weekend. But hey, my pick for this weekend, I think Wittenauer Motorsports is going to win this with their F-Class Mini Cooper.
I laugh not because of Wittenauer. I love the Wittenauer folks. I laugh because I know who you're driving with. And, I have to say, real quick, Timothy Elliott came to your defense because I was trolling you with John in the chat.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, no, Bill's okay and everything. I know that, by the way, because no matter how much people might like Bill or not, but they're not going to put Bill in their car if he wrecks often or if he's really slow. And Bill jumps in cars all the time. So I don't need to know anything about Bill's driving ability other than people
Somebody told me that recently. It's like, I think I'm not that quick of a driver.
Well, but you're not that
that's
slow.
not my job to be a quick driver. It's to bring it, to put down the laps consistently.
Right.
And that's what I try to do.
Right. So if you were really slow or if you wrecked cars, nobody would
Yeah.
ask you to get in their cars. And
Right,
you get into a
right.
lot of the cars over the course of the
Right.
year. You get into 4 or 5 different cars, right?
Yep. And
Typically for
I
one
mean,
stint here or there.
yeah. No, I try to drive 4 or 5
Yeah.
throughout the year. At least
So
get 4 or 5 stints in. So yeah.
that's all I need to know about how good Bill is. So I pick on Bill a lot, and I have a ton of fun, and he takes it well.
Yeah,
But it's all in
thank you.
good fun. And thank you, Timothy, for jumping up to Bill's defense.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Thanks. But let's go over the lineup real quick. I'm not going to say everybody's name on here because there's a whole shit ton of you. Excuse my language, but that's a ton. It's 80 cars signed up, and that's a couple more than we had this morning.
Nice.
901 Motorsports, they're a team that could win this. They're bringing 2 cars. They have Brett Shanneman, and they have a bunch of guys on those teams that could win it. Atlanta Speedworks is always a go-getter there. There's a few here. Blake's Garage can do well. Bliss Racing, of course, they've got their S-Class Mazda Miata, and they're going to be gunning for Wittenauer. Brew Crew Lager, they tend to be pretty rough on that car. They might do well. They've been working on that car. Of course, Bulldog Racing has a bunch of good drivers. They've been with us for a long time. But a car that I think you have to watch for is Burris Motorsports. They won a race recently, and they had some really good drivers, and those drivers are coming back. And you know who those guys are, Brian.
Yep.
If they can hold it together and stay out of trouble, I think Burris Motorsports has a chance to win this. But they have to get by teams like Four Boobs and their Infinity G35 C-Class car. So Four Boobs. So you know,
okay. I just
wanted to say that name, and I cannot wait to say it during the show. So you know, you have the Lot Lizard Racing with their Ford Crown Vic. That's also one to watch for. You know, Lot Lizard, always fun, always fun. Miscue Motorsports, they've been here many times. They have a chance to be in the top 10. Of course, Money Shift, they've been spending a ton of time working on their car, trying to get that thing going, that little Honda Civic going, and it's pretty quick. But NLS and their 240SX, that's been one of the top teams.
Yep.
But they always have trouble towards the end. So if they can get over that having trouble bit, they might be up there. OFIC Racing, blown engines recently, so they got to get over that, and hopefully they can do better this year. Let's see, going here, Racing for Heroes would be there. Rockwell Autosport bringing 3 Porsche Boxsters. You know, they won the national championship, and they've been holding out for this race.
Yep.
They've been prepping like crazy, driving another series, and I think they have a chance. They led this race a couple of times in different cars, but in the end, the cars just couldn't hack their rate of speed. RVA Graphics and Wraps, I think they've won this in the past. They could do it again. They've got both 111 and the 411 car. Sparrow Speed, always a team to watch because they're going to find themselves right up there one of these days. Let's see, Trophy Wife Racing. I think Tiffany's going to be racing with them this weekend. Wheels America bringing their Miatas up, and they've got some young drivers that are really freaking quick. But let's see how they do outside their area and here at VIR. So that'll be a good test for them. And, of course, the team that everybody has to be looking at will be Visceral Racing Group, VRG, and their Porsches. They're bringing 3 Porsches to this race. The 944 RSR, the 944 RS, and the Porsche Boxster. Any 3 of those cars could win this race outright.
Yep.
So they have big tanks in those cars, and they're able to go a long way and double stint. So they can get a lead pretty quick, and they're really, really good at 24-hour races as long as those cars can stay healthy.
Right.
That's the secret. If they can stay healthy and out of everybody, you know, they don't bang into people or things, they should do pretty well. So, and for, you know, being, I don't know the word, is I have raced for them before. So not that means anything, but just to let you know, for the FCC or FBI or whoever. But yeah, so it's going to be a fun weekend, man. The weather is going to be hot. It could be rainy. It could be foggy. It could be sunny. It could be snowing.
So
we don't know.
So I'm looking at the forecast. Of course, we're still a couple days out. 92 on Saturday, 93 on Sunday, 17% chance of rain on Saturday, 18% chance of rain on Sunday, which means it'll just rain enough to make it disgusting humid.
Yeah, if it's 30%, it's gonna pour.
Yeah.
You know, if it's anywhere other side of that, we're probably not gonna get any rain.
Yeah.
But it will be humid.
Yeah, they're calling for 80% humidity.
Yeah. And you know, I know you guys are out. Some of you guys are out where it's 100+ degrees. This is way different.
Oh, I'd
This is way
rather be
different.
100 degrees and zero humidity than 92
Oh, yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah,
I've
it's
done
gonna be
both.
tough.
Done both.
So Paulie and I will be running the show. Paulie will be running the show, ChampCar Live, from the start of the race at noon on Saturday until about 10. I'll take over at 10. I think Brian will be coming on at some point or another.
I'll
We should
be on
have
for a
some of our
portion of that. Yep.
Yeah, our Australia friends on. Maybe Tiffany will come up and help. But we'll be running it overnight until about 8 in the morning when Paulie will come back and finish up, or 5 in the morning. Whatever 10 hours is from there.
Well, he always comes early.
Early, which I love.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, Paulie. We love you, man.
so the show overnight is going to be a little different than the way Paulie does it. We're going to be experimenting with some technology.
Ooh.
You know, some AI. I'm kidding, not really AI, but we're gonna make it sound cool.
I
we're
am a
gonna be
bot.
experimenting with some stuff. Yeah, we're with some new talent software, so we can probably get some more high quality video from our talent. And if you don't know the TV speak, you know, talent would be Brian,
Yeah.
not Bill.
And usually when they talk about me, it's lack thereof.
Yeah.
But yes.
So we're going to be trying some stuff like that. We're going to have, I've got the links to the marching ants, and Chris and I were talking earlier, and he thinks that's super important for racers for his planning for the team, the whole bit. So, the Flagtronics marching ants will be live. I'll be controlling that as well. And also the race log. I've got the links to the race log so you guys can preload those into your computer.
Nice.
The same with, I got those up as well today on the forum for the race, for the race thread.
That thing.
So the links are on there for that as well. Dana set out the email Saturday, the week before email. Please go to check your email. If you for some reason don't have access to your email because you're computer illiterate and you're a computer science major, then go to the forum, because I posted it up in the thread for the race.
Cool.
What else? Remember to hydrate. So you should be drinking stuff now and not beer. Stay off the alcohol the day before the race. That will help you out. I know you want to party and have fun, but dude, your life can depend on that and the lives of other people as well. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
I don't want to sound like the old dude, but yeah. But yeah, Paulie will I have my overnight link up, and I think Paulie will probably put his up Wednesday or Thursday as he preps for the race.
Nice.
So we'll have some more information up tomorrow, or maybe Thursday, because I have a lot to do tomorrow. I got to do some traveling to Charlottesville, Virginia, to pick up the really cool T-shirts that we're going to have for sale. We like to get rid of them all at race weekend. Chris has already told me to set a few aside, and a couple of our other racers have asked, don't ask me anymore, please, guys. You just, you show up and get them. I have 144 shirts, and
you've set mine aside, right?
Did I get one for you? No, I did not get one for you. Unless you can wear an extra small.
Oh, I can on my left arm.
A belly shirt.
Oh.
We're gonna do a belly shirt edition here one of these days.
All right, I'm in.
So, no,
I'm in.
Right. Also, I've been debating doing a daytime, once a week, like news show, 15 minutes during lunch or something like that. If you guys think that would be fun or helpful or whatever, let me know and give us some ideas of what we could talk about during the show. I'm just trying to get the numbers up on ChampCar Live to help the podcast out and to help, the ChampCar Live itself. Viewers drop top.
Everybody just clicked off.
Yeah. So, but yeah, just see what we can do to have some fun and maybe pass on more information.
Nice.
All right, guys, I think I'm done here. I am going to go to sleep. Got a lot of work to do tomorrow, and we're going to be 5 weeks in a row there.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's going to be fun.
All right.
All right.
That's going to do it for another episode of Inside ChampCar. If you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. You won't miss any episodes. It would also be great if you share it with your social media channels. Comment on the ChampCar Facebook page, especially if it's a good one. New episodes every week. He's Bill Strong. I'm Brian Bielanski. You're listening to ChampCar Live on YouTube and the Racing Wire Podcast Network. See you next week.
Toodaloo.